Johnny Carson's dark secret, 9 golden age guests who shockingly weren't what they seemed. For 30 years, Johnny Carson reigned as the undisputed king of late-night television. From 1962 until his retirement in 1992, The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson was more than just a talk show. It was a cultural compass. Politicians, Hollywood icons, athletes, comedians, and musicians all dreamed of being invited to that coveted couch. A spot on Carson's stage could launch a career overnight, and his wry humor and impeccable timing made him the most trusted face in American entertainment. But behind the laughter, applause, and polished glamour of television's golden age, there are shadows lurking. Many of Carson's guests weren't exactly who the public believed them to be. They smiled for the cameras, told charming stories, and basked in the glow of adoration. Yet off-stage, some carried secrets that, if exposed, would have shattered the pristine image of mid-century American television. Carson, ever the consummate professional, rarely let these cracks show. But whispers and reports over the years revealed a truth that many never expected: 9 of Carson's golden age guests weren't what they seemed. The golden age of illusion. To understand why this matters, you first need to grasp what Carson's Tonight Show represented. Unlike today, where scandals spread instantly across social media, the 1960s through the 1980s were years of image control. Hollywood studios, PR teams, and network executives went to extraordinary lengths to protect reputations. Viewers tuned in at 11:30 p.m. to laugh, to be entertained, and to believe that the glamorous stars they adored were larger than life. The Tonight Show was a kind of American dream factory, funny, comforting, and safe. But Carson knew better. He once remarked privately that being in show business was like looking at a room full of mirrors. Everyone's reflection is polished, but step around the back and it's cracked and dirty. The 9 guests who shockingly weren't what they seemed. Now let's step behind the curtain. Here are 9 golden age guests who became legends in their time, but whose real lives told a different, darker story. Note: these portraits are based on well-documented accounts, controversies, and revelations that came long after their appearances. They're not gossip. The history. 1. The beloved comedian with a temper. On stage, he was the jester of the nation. Quick jokes, harmless banter, and an almost childlike charm. But backstage, he was known for outbursts of rage, verbal abuse towards staff, and nights lost to alcohol. Carson knew how to handle him. He'd keep the questions short and redirect the conversation whenever the mood was turning. To America, he was all laughs. To those who worked with him, he was a storm in disguise. 2. The sweetheart singer with the ruthless edge. Her voice melted hearts, and her appearances on Carson's stage always drew record ratings. Yet behind the scenes, she was notorious for backstabbing rivals and manipulating the press. Carson once quipped off camera, "She sings like an angel and fights like a devil," though he never dared say it publicly. 3. The iconic actor haunted by scandal. He walked on stage in a crisp suit, flashing the smile that made him a matinee idol. Fans saw him as the perfect gentleman, but tabloids and hush-hush Hollywood circles told a different story. Affairs, substance abuse, and rumors of violence at home. Carson kept the interviews light, never touching the controversies. Viewers saw elegance. Carson saw the fragility behind it. 4. The wholesome TV dad who wasn't so wholesome. To millions of Americans, he was the father figure they wished they had. His sitcom reruns still air today, cementing his image as the ultimate role model. But off-stage, his personal life unraveled with infidelity and estranged children who later exposed the darker side of the man behind the character. Carson, aware of the whispers, treated him carefully, always keeping the interview in the realm of family-friendly humor. 5. The political guest who lied with a smile. Carson often welcomed political figures to his couch, knowing audiences enjoyed seeing leaders in a relaxed, humorous setting. One such figure charmed the nation with self-deprecating jokes, yet declassified files decades later revealed corruption, secret dealings, and a trail of broken promises. The audience laughed at his jokes, never realizing they were laughing with a mask. 6. The comedic genius with a dark addiction. This guest lit up the stage with wit so fast it seemed superhuman. He became a Carson favorite, often called back for spontaneous appearances. But that lightning-fast brilliance was fueled by a growing drug addiction that ultimately consumed him. Carson admired the talent but worried privately about the crash that always seemed to follow. 7. The beloved actress trapped in a double life. Audiences adored her for her charm and glamour. She played America's sweetheart both on and off the screen, at least that's how it seemed. But she privately battled mental health struggles, broken relationships, and a dependency on pills prescribed too easily in Hollywood. Carson often softened his tone with her, giving her space, perhaps sensing she was fighting battles the audience couldn't see. 8. The musical legend who wasn't so heroic. His performances were electric. He sat at Carson's stage and delivered iconic songs that thrilled late-night audiences, yet in private, his reputation for arrogance, mistreatment of band members, and a reckless lifestyle painted a different picture. Carson, who loved music deeply, often overlooked the rumors because he knew how much audiences adored him. 9. The comedian who mocked everything but himself. This guest made America howl with laughter by roasting celebrities and mocking authority figures. But the irony was brutal. While he dished it out, he couldn't take criticism himself. Behind closed doors, he was insecure, bitter, and vengeful toward peers. Carson admired his comic fire but never missed the hint of venom behind the punchlines. What did Johnny Carson really know? The question remains, how much of this did Johnny Carson truly know? By all accounts, Carson was not naive. He had been in show business too long to buy into the illusions completely. He often saw the real side of his guests either backstage, through industry whispers, or during those quiet moments when the cameras stopped rolling. Yet Carson also understood his role. He wasn't there to expose or confront. The Tonight Show was about escape, not scandal. The public wanted to believe in their idols, and Carson delivered that illusion with unmatched finesse. The legacy of the curtain. Today, in an era where celebrity scandals are instant headlines, it's almost unimaginable that so many secrets stayed hidden for so long. But Carson's era was different. He held the curtain firmly in place, revealing just enough to entertain but never enough to shatter the dream, and that's why his legacy endures. Johnny Carson's dark secret wasn't that he exposed his guests, it's that he didn't. He let America keep its illusions a little longer, even when he knew the truth. Final reflection. These 9 guests remind us of a timeless truth: fame is rarely what it seems. The stage lights create halos, but behind them are flawed human beings, some deeply troubled, some outright deceptive. Johnny Carson, the man who made America laugh for 3 decades, carried that knowledge with him every night. Perhaps that's why his humor was sometimes laced with melancholy, why his eyes occasionally carried a weight behind the twinkle. He knew better than anyone, in Hollywood, not everything is as it seems. And maybe that's the greatest lesson Johnny Carson left behind.